Right, hello everybody. Welcome to what we on part 2, episode 8, I believe. Just double check my numbers. Episode 8 it is. So in the last one we fixed a couple of bugs, as you would expect, and started to plumb in a bit of output somewhere down here. So we've now got this that we want to save to a file up here somewhere. So in the difference output, Euro USD. So what we need to do first and foremost is we need a date reference. As you can see here, where it says Euro USD 24th the 2nd 2026. Well, we need the corresponding one up here. We don't need it for the stream because it's one live file only, but we do need it for here to separate the output. So we'll add that in, the self.current date equals none. Okay, and then back down to here, so where we're getting our data. So for each bit of data, we have this string date here that we extracted in the last video. So we want to do two basic checks. So if self.current date is none, then we want to set, if I could type, as always, self.current date equal to the string date. Okay. Now, if the current bucket is equal to 1, now we are going to, there for a second, we're just going to make sure we explicitly convert that to an int, so that this test will pass and fail, because obviously 1 is not the same as 1. So we just want to make sure that we're dealing with the same currency. No pun intended. Okay, so if the bucket is 1, bucket 1 is the new day. So we will want to set the self.current date equal to the string date again. Okay, so that allows us to deal with the date. That allows us to make sure that our output directory is on the right day. So every time we get a new bucket 1 turn up, we will set the current date and we will set it if it's none. Okay, so that should keep our current date up to date. Mouthful. Okay, now we've basically got our idea. We've got an output directory, and we basically said what I said. We're going to do something like buckets1.2.json as a file name output, depending on what buckets we got. So what we need is we've got a self.previous bucket number. So how are we collecting or doing the differences again? So bid high difference is the high bid, which is the new compared to the previous. So the new data compared to the previous appended to the right. So we work left to right, so that should make sense. So if we were adding them in line, it would always be like that, going across left to right. Should make sense. Right, so we're going left to right, so we would want the reference bucket is the new one. So bucket number is going to be the new. So we use the bucket. I don't know what that means. Probably won't in 5 minutes. But we do for now. Okay, so we just create a quick function. So we'll save the output. And if we pass in a reference bucket and a test bucket, just so we've got the two, and we'll pass in the, we'll call them calculations. I was going to call them metrics, but we're already using that. So, well, the first thing we want to do is get a file path. So we need to make sure the directory exists first. So we'll do a if os.path make directories, and we'll go paths, output directory, and exists okay, it's true. That'll just ensure that we have the path, although I'm doing that wrong. I knew there was a reason. So the date directory is going to equal the paths output directory, and then we're going to tack on the self.current date, and then we want to make that one, make sure that's okay. Okay, so we're basically adding it's a bit somewhere this to that, and then making sure the thing exists. Okay, so then we want the file name. So if we do a file name, set that equal to, we want buckets, and we'll have the reference bucket, and I wish I could learn to type, the test bucket dot JSON. Okay, so the file path will equal the date directory and the file name. Okay, and then with open file path, we're writing to it, so the encoding, I mean, the encoding could be optional, but we got a date in there, so we'll do it anyway. That's F, and then we want JSON.dump, dump what? The calculations, dump where? To our open reader, and we'll set the indent equal to 4. And paranoia dot close. Okay, so all the way down here, well, we've got this data packet. After that, we want to self.save the output. The reference bucket is the new one, so we extract that here. So now it'd be bucket number. So compare the metrics, and we're passing in the new bucket number. So I'm right with that, aren't I? So we're passing in the metrics, yep. So just make sure. So the outputs of the reference bucket is the bucket number, and the test bucket is going to be the self.previous bucket number, and the calculations will equal the output data packet. And we'll break these down a little bit so they all fit in a reasonable space that we can see. Okay, we get rid of that. So now we should start seeing the bucket difference come out. So let's see what we get. Let's just run it and see. Let's fix that problem as well, because we are not returning anything. So there you go. That'll take care of that. We'll just see what we get. One other small upgrade I'm going to pipe in, probably in the next video now, is an initial daily reference. So while we wait for this to pop us out something or crash, whatever it's going to do. We'll have a little look here. So what I'm thinking is if we have a self dot start price, and what that essentially will be set at, so we'll set that at bucket 1, tick 1. So the first tick that comes out of bucket 1, we'll use the start price and we'll give it a bid and ask as well. So like so, put these in additions, and as we can see, we got them backwards. Well, they're right because we are comparing the new bucket to the old bucket. So we'll see what the next one comes out. That should be 41 to 40. So as you can see, it's kind of going. So that makes a bit of sense. If not, we can always flip it around later. Not the end of the world. We'll put them in the wrong weird place, but never mind. So yeah, so then we've got a daily reference of where price is going. So we're going to add in a distance from the start bid and a distance from ask. Sorry, a difference from bid and a difference from ask from start, which is something else we can track. So how do we want to do that? We want to do it at the end of the minute, and I'm thinking the average bid price for the minute and the average ask price for the minute and the difference between the two. So let's just make sure that 11:39, 11:40, 11:40 to 11:41. Okay, so we are getting our data out there. So -4, so the tick high is going down and the ask tick, so the bid tick higher is going down and the ask tick higher is going down, and the big tick lower is going up and the ask tick lower is going up. Asker, not arse. So what does that tell us? That means that price is actually on its way down. So how repeated that'll be, we wouldn't know till the next one, but what was this one saying? So we've got an indication there that it's actually dropping. So we're down 2 less there. And again, we've gone lower, lower again. So you can see by those 4 simple metrics, get rid of that, you can actually get a rough idea of how things are going. But anyway, back to up here. So yeah, I think these will be the average prices at end of minute compared to, we'll just call them reference. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. How we implement that will be slightly different. Now, I'm going to quickly, not quickly, but I'm going to change this slightly. I like that, but we want to stop it. So we don't want that for starters because we're not getting that back. But I'm thinking when we go to, we're sending it here. I'm just thinking about adding the price data to it. So we've got metrics and then we've got the tick data. So now if we added in the calculations, so if it was like this, like so, and then all of those we plonk into there, is what I'm thinking. So what are we putting out? Let's just go back to here. So metrics are the calculations that we're putting out. So we actually want to pass in Suppose we could use the init as a loop and put it up there, or compare the metrics as process new data. So set previous state. If we compare the metrics and we actually pass in the new data. So let's try this. Let's bring this down a little bit. And we'll have new data equals new data. Sound a bit rhetorical at the moment. And then in the compare metrics, we'll add a new data. Okay, and then getting down to here, where we make our packet. So we're saving the output, so that's our data packet there. We'll send this into the right place. Yeah, so we're passing in the new data to here, correct? Yep. So if we go new data comparison, and then we'll equal that to the output. Again, if I can find the keyboard, output data packet, and then instead of passing the output data packet in, we'll pass the new data in. And hopefully, again, we ain't got to worry about these derivative metrics. We can just get rid of them. So, right, let's run this again now. Oh, excuse me. And we'll see what we get. And hopefully, we will get a full workout, which is the data. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, we've got metrics. We've got the tick data. And we can already see we've got the comparison data down there. So you've now got 3 stages of data within one file, and this is these ones here will probably be the ones that end up going up for sale because they're a bit more rich in terms of that. Once we verify all of this, we can sort of see that, and as you can see from our previous stint, we're lower, so we're actually going down there, and then we did tick up a little bit on the higher, so the spread is most likely widening a touch there, or we're just flicking up and down a little bit. But being 7 o'clock at night, no challenge. But we'll worry about what all the data actually means in the beginning, and the only thing we're going to have to be careful of 46-47 is the minutes, because obviously if we go down to here, we can see the 2 buckets, but we're only registering on 1 minute, so which is the first one, so this one here. So I suppose it does make sense. Oh, sorry, 47. I'm thinking of minutes. 7. Got confused. So it's registering on the last bucket, so it does actually make sense, in a sense. But anyway, not that important. So again, you can see all weird numbers. So there's -8 difference from the 8 ticks were -8. 8 ticks were less than the previous tick. I will get my words right, apologies. So the bid tick higher was 8 less than the previous one. So what was the previous one? So 1146. Go down here, make sure this makes sense. 1146. So bid higher previous. Oh, I'm on the wrong one again. So bid tick higher difference, so bid higher previous. Well, now what are we doing? 11, what did I say it was? 1147. No, lost my marbles there. So we want 46 and 47, so let's get that up there, get rid of that. So I want 11, 46 and 47. So on that one we were 10. It's saying we were 8 less, so 47 should be 2. I think we've already seen that. Yeah, so that's still working correctly and displaying the right information. The problem was me as usual. Okay, so that's going to run over night as such. We're going to do one more before we set it off to run overnight. I'll leave that there. And that is, have a look at piping in this this source. We'll go through that in the next video and get that in, and then it can run overnight. And I think, other than letting some data go, I'm going to strip it back down to run midnight. Well, bucket one only. So we're going to basically discount, want for a better word, Sunday. We're not going to get interested in Sunday. We're just going to take a reference from midnight on the Monday, midnight on Sunday. First tick of Monday morning, and that will be the Monday reference, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will all be the same. At bucket one, tick one, we will take an initial reference up here. No, not on that one, on here. We will take these at bucket one, and then we're going to add in an end of calculation difference, how far off the average was. Okay, so we should be able to see it drifting up in comparison to the start prices, or drifting down. So that will give us another indicator as to where price is actually heading. Again, we don't care what the price is, we only care where it's heading. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff. Do your bit. I'm here yabbering away to myself. You gotta do your bit, make it work. Thanks for your support. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're learning, following along. Feel free to pause and copy. You're welcome to. Couldn't care less. There's nothing here that's going to ruin my day if you actually succeed and make some money from it. I wish you well with it. Or just use it for education, which is what it's meant for. As I say, not a trading tool, just information. We will get to trade in another day. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.